Exposing the truth behind the lies and fighting for the freedom of awareness. America's first competition talk show. You're in the Hub.
Good day, welcome to you, and welcome to the Hub Radio Show. I'm your host, Joel Aaron, joined all this week by Brooke, Whitney, and Rich, who are on the panel with us all week long. And you can vote at the end of this episode, the Wednesday show, on whether Brooke or Rich won the Faceoff debate. We'll be having a little bit later on in the program, and that's the way you play. Post your vote in the comments section of the YouTube video, and we will kick one off the island, keep one on next week, and your vote will determine it. Okay. You know, the topic right now, on we go in the hell, which is the oil crisis going on in the Gulf right now. Most recently, as earlier this week, actually, Governor Bobby Jindal in Louisiana actually asked for some barges to go out into the Gulf and get at, he had 33 barges he deployed because he kept asking, could not get a response from the administration, could not get a response from the Coast Guard on deploying these things. Finally said, I'm the governor of Louisiana, I've got to save my coastline. He deployed them, they start sucking up oil out of the Gulf. Lo and behold, 2 days later, the Coast Guard steps in and says, even though you're gobbling up thousands of gallons of oil, of crude out of the Gulf, we've got to put a stop to this because you don't have enough life preservers, Rich. I mean, Bobby Reith was also asking for additional boom. He wasn't getting that either. And honestly, I mean, this is what do you do when you have a president who's saying he's doing all that he can, and really all he's doing at the end of the day is deploying the Organizing for America PR team to their 500,000 member database, telling them they're doing all they can possibly do. Brooke, I hate to put you on the spot like this, but seems a bit disingenuous. Why not just get out of the way, give them the license they need to get the job done?
Well, I mean, obviously, when they decided to do this was obviously many, many weeks and later, and now they're talking about this. What should have possibly happened is they should have been on those barges sucking up that oil, like, after a couple of days. And, of course, yes, I mean, I'm not, obviously condoning what the president said and saying, don't do it, stop, whatever. But here's the thing. We wasted time. So now there's this cat and mouse game going back and forth.
Don't doubt the president. You know what happened to General McChrystal. Whitney, what say you regarding all this? I mean, it's a boondoggle at this point.
Well, I think it comes down to kind of like in Arizona with the immigration laws. Someone's got to do it. And when Louisiana's coastline was threatened and the federal government wasn't doing what they needed to do, the governor stepped in to take control of his coastline. So
yeah, I think honestly, I remember what happened a couple of years ago, Rich, in Georgia, which is where we filmed the Hub Internet show, where we had a water issue. We had a drought going on in Georgia, and the Army Corps of Engineers, responsible for the water release at a lake up north of Atlanta, Lake Lanier, was wanting to release the water downstream because it was threatening some species, some fishes. Yes, fishes, and we had to protect the fishes, so they were going to release the oil. I literally stood in the water, covering this as a journalist at the time, watching a guy in a kayak out in front of the dam and say, if you're going to open the water, you're going to have to sweep me away with it. And they paddled out to him and helped him get out of the water and then release the water out of the dam. So ultimately, the responsibility in that case was the Army Corps of Engineers. The responsibility in this case is the federal government, unlike Hurricane Katrina. And these guys are just out to lunch.
This is a perfect example that supports less is more. It's ridiculous to think that we have government officials up there who don't see the importance of just getting it done. I hate to quote Larry the Cable Guy, but I think the quote is so appropriate at this point. When you got people that are out there losing their livelihoods, losing their entire heritage of the coastline, you just have to do what needs to be done. And in this particular case, I think it was, I don't want to say stupid, but it wasn't exactly the smartest thing to do to let that oil continue to flow when you had people who had a viable solution.
Well, they said, one of the things we've heard about is that you could suspend the Jones Act. The Jones Act was way back in 1920 when this thing was first put in place. Section 27 of the Merchants Marine Act was the Jones Act. And basically it said that you have to plant a flag. You have to be a U.S. vessel. If you're transporting cargo within U.S. waters, you have to be carrying a flag. You have to be a U.S. sanctioned ship. You have to be one of the things. Now, that's obviously a fairly archaic stipulation at this point because of how much drilling is actually going on in the Gulf. Obviously, you wouldn't want this happening all the time because it becomes a national security threat, I would imagine. But in the case of an emergency like this, why not lift the ban? You're the president. You could do that. Stick a flag in it and go. Brooke?
Well, yes. I mean, he should have been more aggressive on that. Saying, lifting the ban and going ahead and telling people to get going to it. So, I mean, I think it's time. And now, if they're being stopped, I definitely think that they need to really make sure that they get something in place to go ahead and get this out. I mean, people are suffering and livelihoods are being lost, and so they need to do what they need to do. And government, I mean, I believe right this second we shouldn't all be arguing. We should be going right for solutions.
Yeah. And I mean, one of the things Governor Jindal has been saying is that every time he comes to the Coast Guard for an answer, he gets a different answer from everybody he asks in the Coast Guard. Nobody knows what the procedures are. And honestly, you can't blame the Fed for that, right? Because the procedures change with the scenario, and the scenario is always changing. It's not that the Fed doesn't know which end is up. Mother Nature is bipolar. What can we say? She's always throwing curveballs. Whitney, I mean, are we too far off base? Can you really expect more than the Coast Guard's already giving him?
Well, I was going to say that I don't think, when you talk about procedures, that implies that this has happened before, or that usually that you have some frame of reference. And even with the Exxon Valdez and whatnot, it was nothing like this level of a catastrophe. So I think that the Fed doesn't have any frame of reference to work with. So everybody's just throwing whatever they can at the oil spill problem. And luckily the governor got something that was working, but at the same time, I think in the article it was talking about that the reason they were pulling these ships over was safety concerns. I know life preserver sounds kind of weak, but what's going to happen to all the oil you're sucking up into these ships?
Yeah.
And that's kind of why they were concerned about where they were made, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly.
I'm grasping here.
Supposedly.
I mean, how many different things can we throw at the problem? Throw it until something sticks. All right, we have a face-off debate now. It is Whitney squaring off against Rich, the trembling lips. And the topic today is about there's a company in Hong Kong. Guys, a company in Hong Kong has recently created the world's first lightsaber. Not the dinky little lightsaber thing you got that you click the button on and it made lightsaber noises and flashed a little flashlight like the one I had back in the 80s. The real thing. This is a 1-watt laser that shoots out of this thing. The problem is the experts are saying that it may cause skin cancer. Prolonged usage. And that if you shine it directly into your eye, you could go blind. But they give you sunglasses to wear with this thing that takes care of this sort of thing. So the question really is here, it is mano a mano. I guess that would be not gender neutral. That would be okay. So
we're writing that hand to hand.
Yeah, hand to hand. Okay. This is the debate here, man versus woman. Would you give this laser, this lightsaber, to your child or your figurative child, Whitney, in your case, or would you not? 90 seconds on the clock, 45 seconds per person. Ladies first. Whitney, you get the first say. Go.
Okay. Well, first things first. I just have to say, shocking that China has come out with some toy that might be dangerous to children. That's a first. But I certainly would not give my child a lightsaber. I don't understand all the specifics of what's happening here with this lightsaber, if it's just a beam that shoots out into oblivion or if it's somehow capped, but it sounds like a regular laser pointer that you would give to a cat. But either way, if experts are saying that it could potentially cause cancer, whether it's skin cancer or burn my child's retinas out, whatever it is, I'm going to say that I do not want my child playing with that toy.
Fun time. You seek fun time. Rich?
I just don't understand what's the big concern. I look at it this way. What doesn't cause cancer in this day and age? I mean, I probably could walk outside and just breathe the air and instant cancer. I say that if the kids are going to play with toys, then they just ought to just play with them responsibly. I, as a parent, I don't have a problem with my daughters playing with a lightsaber. It kind of brings back that little, remembrances of the days when I was a kid. So what? Let them have fun.
Okay.
Maybe they can learn how to defend themselves against the.
I mean, the only thing I'm thinking of here is that you're raising Xena's the warrior princesses. So,
she was kind of cute though.
She was kind of cute. So we'll leave it at that. Was it Whitney? Was it Rich? You make the determination. We'll tell you next Wednesday who won the face-off debate, and we will see you tomorrow on the Hub.